All right, what's going on, guys? So I kind of really quickly wanted to come on here and record this video. So it's completely free. I'm not gonna charge for anything like this. I mean, typically, if you got mentorship, this is the kind of content you'd end up getting, or if you're hopping on a call, this is the kind of information you'd receive. But anyways, let's get into it. So how we did a $700,000 month, and this is back in 2020. But the thing is, all the principles here they subsist throughout time, right? Like the same principles in 2018, a lot of them are still going to be applicable to 2023. So, anyways, let's get into it. The first thing I want to preface this by saying is mindset, right? Now, everyone talks about this mindset, and why is that? And it's typically because the knowledge you actually hold in your brain. Because let's think about it, right? What's the difference between someone like me, someone like you, and then someone that's significantly above me? It tends to be mindset, right? It's literally your mind. What is inside here is what differentiates people. It's not aesthetics, it's not how you look, it's the mind. So, if you want to be successful, you need to hone your mind. It's a very simple philosophy, very simple concept. Everyone seems to be talking about it. So the very first thing is skill sets. Now, when you want to get into e-commerce, SaaS, it doesn't matter what business it is, there's fundamental skill sets each business employs, every single business in the world. It doesn't matter if you're Larry Fink, who's the CEO of BlackRock. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO of Goldman Sachs. You need to understand certain skill sets in order to succeed. Now, you can get into the very higher echelon of this, so wealth management, taxes, things like that, but typically for us, these are going to be on the lower end. So these skill sets are going to include things like funnel building, very important, media buying, conversion rate optimization, system creation. I mean, I have a whole entire list here on purpose because all these skill sets you can't just isolate. Now, if you look at like an agency, for example, right, they'll master media buying, let's say, they come in and they'll fix your ads for you. But if you want to be a one-stop shop, you want to be a brand owner, you want to be a drop shipper, it doesn't matter. You need to master all of these. Now, there's two ways you can do this. So the first route is going to be self-education. You can go in and you can sit on YouTube and learn all this shit. You can go on Twitter, you can mentally masturbate, just learn a lot of this stuff. Or the second route is going to be through experience. I like a mixture of both. Learn what you need to, go apply it, and you'll get the necessary knowledge to scale. Now, this brings me to the first point. The typical difference between $0 and 100K a month is mindset, period. It's not necessarily the logistical parts or mechanical parts of a business, it's typically mindset. And therefore, the same philosophy applies from 100K to $1 million a month. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some offers that no matter what you do, you won't be able to scale, but typically it's not because of your offer. The reason you can't scale is typically your mindset. The skill sets you have developed don't allow for that scale. You simply haven't earned the right to make $1 million a month. Now, with that out of the way, I want to get into part one, which is mechanisms and positioning. So, the first thing's product research, right? Now, everyone's trying to find that one winning product. Let's be honest here. I mean, I've been down the rabbit hole. You have as well. We're all looking for the next winning product, the next big thing. But there's not really a next big thing. That's the truth in 2023. A lot of it just comes down to positioning. So, the first thing is if you're selling a dress, for example, you're selling a clothing article. It's no longer just, hey, I'm selling a dress, buy it now, right? Everyone knows this. You got to sell them the benefits. But it's not even about the benefits anymore. It's about the dream. It's about the big promise. It's about what you're selling them, the result, the how amazing their life's going to be after they buy your dress. And that could be finding them their dream man. It could be, they're just going to get tons of compliments from their lady friends, whatever it is, right? You want to stick to one promise, have that completely reinforced throughout your ads, throughout your landing page, etc. Keep it consistent, right? Humans have a very big monkey brain, the lizard brain, whatever you want to call it. We tend to look at things and shy away from inconsistency. If you tell your friends, I'm going to go into entrepreneurship, I'm going to start a business, they tend to hate on you. Why? Are they assholes? It's not necessarily because of that. It's just because it's unfamiliar. It's inconsistent with the learning patterns that we're taught as children. Same thing with customers. Customers are very simple, right? You got to give them a big promise, big benefit, double down on it, and just keep it reinforced throughout the entire funnel. So people tend to test products. I like testing angles, right? Because one angle of, hey, this will get you your dream man. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this. There's a ton of pheromone perfumes and shit out there. Those are all targeting that angle. Another angle is the compliment angle, right? Like, hey, this will get you 5,000 compliments in a day. That's another good angle. So testing these, you end up in a position where you can almost like a spider, you can just sit on the web and wait for the fly to come. Same thing with e-commerce. So with that said, positioning, pivoting, very, very important. Testing angles. You can test this via advertorial pages, via normal pages, whatever. The second thing is going to be product economics. And I kind of like broke this whole thing down right here, explaining how CPCs and CPMs are very high now compared to 2018. And you need to adapt with that. And that tends to come on the product economic and CRO side of things. So I broke down kind of the metrics you're going to need for a $30 product, and you can scale these linearly for 40, 50, 60, 20, whatever your AOV is. But the first thing is economics, right? You want to always be negotiating with your supplier. You never want to be in a position where you get the first quote, you don't negotiate it. You end up scaling the product for a month or two and you don't negotiate it. That's a very foolish position you're going to be in. I've done this shit before. Don't do that. You just want to consistently negotiate, but not too hard to where you tarnish the relationship. The second thing is CRO. So the difference between a 1% conversion rate, 2%, and 3% makes the entire world of difference, especially with e-commerce. And it's the difference between being hyper unprofitable and at least break even or profitable. So to optimize your conversion rate, there's a lot of steps you can take. The fundamental steps you do want to take though is increasing your loading speed. That helps. Amazon doubles down on this. We double down on this. Loading speed is very, very important. Each second that someone has to wait to get on their site is going to increase your drop off rate. Very important. You can do that through, again, installing a new theme. You can improve the landing page, hire a developer. It's like $20, $30, $50 on Fiverr or Upwork, pretty cheap. You can add GIFs onto your site, and everyone tends to do these now. A lot of people have custom landing pages, but again, just make sure your landing page looks professional. There's no spammy timers and shit. That stuff worked back in 2017. Doesn't really work now. Not to say you shouldn't use timers, but just don't heavily emphasize it to the point where you're using like Rushy or whatever timer app there is nowadays. We don't even use them. With that said, how to grow the business. So there's only really a few ways you can grow a company. And the first one is increasing the number of customers. That's going to be your paid acquisition. That's going to be, running TikTok organic, whatever it is. You want to increase the people coming in through the door, obviously, through the top of the funnel, right? That's the top, and it comes down like a little, I guess, like, I don't even know. You guys get the point. Anyways, the second thing is going to be increase the frequency of buying, right? So this is maximizing your LTV, lifetime value. You want to get your old customers to come back again. Why? Well, because think about it, right? If you're selling, let's say, a $30 product and you can spend $25 to acquire your customer, $25, versus someone who's selling the same product as you, but their customers end up spending $300 with them lifetime, they can spend like $200 plus. So who's going to win in the auction, right? They can spend more time running ads than you can because you're going to cut it based off your break-even CPP, etc. So LTV, very, very important difference between amateurs and professionals. Next thing's next, increase the AOV basically. So upsells, downsells, cross sells, pretty simple. And number 4 is going to be increase the actual price, your actual offer, right? Oftentimes you can charge a premium because you're increasing the perceived value of the product. So look at iPhones, right? They're manufactured for what, like $20 to $100, pretty cheap. But people are selling them for, even on eBay, $500. Apple themselves are selling it for $1,500, $2,000. Like, they're selling it for a lot because the perceived value is just so high. It's a high quality product. So oftentimes, instead of just competing on price, compete on branding, compete on the actual product quality compared to just price. Because there's always going to be some guy on Amazon who can come around and just completely destroy your business if it was based off price. And number 5 is going to be decrease the actual clutter of people, software, just optimize your costs, right? Now, this usually works for SaaS or software, but for e-commerce, it can be negligible, but the point is you can still give it a try. A lot of the times when you're scaling, you tend to have unnecessary costs, especially software. Shopify is going to bill you $3,000 a month because you're using Shopify Plus or whatever. So definitely consider that in your own personal and business life. Cut down on costs, double down on what's working. Pretty simple philosophy. Next thing's next, paid ads. So you need to choose what platform you're going to run on. For our $700,000 a month, we ran primarily on Snapchat and TikTok. So me and my partner, we ran on these platforms. Why? Well, because the product was a younger demographic product. Does it make sense to run it on Facebook? Kind of. We ran slight retargeting prospecting on there, but it makes more sense to run it on a younger platform like Snapchat or TikTok. This could have also worked really well with Pinterest. We just didn't give it a try. But anyways, so you want to really figure out how you want to position your product. Do you want to go on TikTok and do you want to do organic and run Spark ads, or do you want to go on Snapchat and rip ads off of TikTok? What exactly do you want to do? What's your goal? Paid acquisition is something people don't give enough time to, and they just pick the new trendy platform like TikTok Shop. And I'm not saying it's bad, but they'll pick TikTok Shop, they'll pick fucking Pornhub if it's a thing. Like, they will pick any platform if everyone on Twitter is raving about it. Pick one thing and focus on it. So the thing is, we can go to Snapchat or TikTok because I've spent so much money on Facebook. The fundamentals are the same with the platforms, and they typically tend to work the same. Next thing's next is going to be my favorite strategy. So I like to scale, at least in 2023 now, with single ad set CBOs. And this works really well on TikTok and Facebook, in my experience at least. A lot of people will tend to bump up the budgets to like $5,000. I never really found success with that. I like to stick to the $100 to $500 range. After that, I've pretty much noticed that you tend to reach entropy and the ad sets tend to get a decent amount of conversions, but the ROAS hinders, and I like keeping high ROASs now, at least in 2023. I'm not necessarily playing a volume game anymore. So if you want to scale sustainably, just duplicate your best ad set into its own CBO, and you're going to have 1 to 2 creatives in there. Set a $100 budget, see how it does, and you can scale up throughout the day, reset at the end of the day. Very simple strategy. Lots of guys are using this. Something that I like to do, and it's made us a lot of money. And then I have a little screenshot of one of our campaigns we're currently running right now. Very consistent 3 ROASs. And again, I'm not trying to flex, because we've had those stores with insane shit, but I'm not trying to sit here and be like, yeah, we have 30 ROAS on this product. Like, let's be honest here. A 10% margin is healthy. A 2 to 3 to 4 ROAS is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Gurus will try to flex like 8 ROAS and be like, yeah, we're running at 8 ROAS, $30 a day. Like, bro, come on. It's unreasonable. It's unrealistic standards, especially for the average entrepreneur. You can get to those things, but you want to stick to a reasonable range. Next thing's next, final part of this entire discussion. I want to discuss why revenue is a lie. How did I bait you guys into this? Think about it, right? I said how we did a $700,000 a month. Is it bad? No. But here's the thing about revenue. You guys have to understand that the way I am explaining this to you is I don't really have anything to sell right now. Will I sell something down the line? Maybe, who knows? But right now, it's just an entire doc on what we did. You guys have to understand in 2023, costs have gotten expensive. And that includes shipping from China. That also includes the actual CPMs on Facebook. Ad spend's gotten more expensive, at least for Facebook. And overall, you have to understand that chargebacks is something no one talks about. People are trying to sell you courses. They're going to bait you in with revenue. They're going to go, hey, we've done this much in revenue. And revenue is a great secondary indicator of how successful someone is. But the things that truly matter are going to be how long they've been in this space. It's going to be how much overall lifetime revenue they've done. It's going to be their dispute rate, and it's going to be their customer retention rate, right? It's not just about revenue anymore. You'll find anyone who can throw up a $70,000 a day. You'll find these things on Twitter especially, and it's going to spike your envy and your jealousy and your admiration because you want it to be you. You want to refresh your phone and see 70 grand for the day while you're at the beach or some shit. Everyone wants that. No one, and if someone says I don't want that and money's evil, they're bullshitting you. Everyone wants that shit. So more often than not, you have to understand the mechanics behind their actual screenshot can vary so drastically. There could be one person who's legit. They just posted genuine 70K a day. They did it with a brand, good shipping. Then there could be someone that's just fucking doing MRR. They could be no shipping. They could all be subscriptions that they unethically got. You don't know the logistics behind the screenshot. And for most gurus, like I'm not saying this is everyone, but for most of them, it's going to be about 50% ad spend. It's going to be 30 to 40 to maybe 20% cost of goods. And their processing fees will be 2 to 5%. And you could factor in, staff and whatnot within those processing fees. Like you could do 3 or 4%. And you end up with like 2 to 5 grand on a 30K a day, right? That's not bad. But you got to factor in chargebacks, which no one talks about. And everyone hides this. No one's going to show you their dispute rate. There's a reason why. We've had insane chargeback rates on clothing stores. I can tell you that right now. You guys already know sizing issues. I'm not going to lie about that. We shipped out like 400, 500 grand worth of orders, and it was pretty much a fire, which I can get into another video. But people don't understand that you do a 30K a day, you have a 5% dispute rate, and you guys might think that's pretty high. Guys, there are so many people on Twitter that have way higher dispute rates. I could name drop 10, 20 people right now that are probably blacklisted doing MRR. Trust me, 5% dispute rate is pretty low for ecom Twitter, but you have to understand that there's also going to be a $15 fee. Let's say your AOV is $50, right? What you're looking at is 5% dispute rate. You're looking at 6.5 in total because of the fees. Even if you win some chargebacks, it makes you break even on a 2 to 3 grand day. You just changed the entire dynamic of revenue flexing. You went from 30 grand with 2, 3, 4K profit to like maybe 1K. And what's funny is, guess what they do? They sell you a course and make the actual profit there. So with that said and out of the way, revenue is a lie in my opinion. I don't really trust it anymore. I think it's great when you see like a $1 million a day screenshot, but for 30, 40, 50K a day, it's not a reliable indicator of what you should be considering to be successful. So with that said, I hope that video was valuable, guys. Just a lot of thought processes instead of just like pure media buying strategies. But and I talk pretty fast. If you need to rewatch it, slow it down, do what you need to. But yeah, just want to get all this information to you for free. And yeah, if you guys got any value, just feel free to follow me. Not really pitching anything right now, but yeah, much love to you all. Hope you have a good day.